Minecraft. It's a game that almost everyone knows about. It was released on November 18th back in 2011 and has been pretty popular since, with updates throughout the years changing various things. Many people flock to the standard updates like 1.12.2 or maybe 1.8. But today, I'd like to talk about the history of the April Fool's updates. So, where to start? Well, let's start with the first April Fool's update, 4D Minecraft for April Fool's 2010. And some of you are wondering what I'm talking about. The first update released in 2011. Well, back in 2010, the creator of Minecraft, Notch, announced on his Twitter the plans for an April Fool's update. Unfortunately, at the time, Notch was moving and didn't end up having the time to complete the update. Even though the update was never made, it became tradition to release these fun updates every April Fool's Day. The first real update for April Fools was the Minecraft Store 2011. This update was a joke site created by Notch himself that added a locked chest to the game. When the player interacted with the chest, a prompt would pop up that would direct you to the Minecraft Store. The store featured various items such as crate keys, a name change, a creeper saddle, and enlargement pills, along with a few other expensive items. This whole update was mostly a reference to TF2. The keys, called Steve Co. Supplied Crate Keys, reference Manco from TF2. If you're interested in checking the site out, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. Close to the like and subscribe button, by the way. April Fool's Day for 2012 is a bit weird since it doesn't really have anything to do with Minecraft. It started with Notch announcing a game called Mars Effect, a pun on the game Mass Effect. He was working on this game beforehand and he just used it and recycled it for the joke. Well, not much else here, so let's move on to 2013. This time around, Mojang announced Minecraft 2.0, hyping the update by giving early access to various YouTubers at the time and saying it would bring blocky simulation games to the next level. However, this update contained typical nonsensical changes like TNT slabs and torches that would burn out, tinted glass, blocks of coal, and a dozen other little changes. Even a few mobs were added, like a pink wither, redstone bugs, a diamond chicken, and horses and ponies. Most of these mobs are just slightly different versions of existing mobs, even though most of these additions were jokes. We would eventually see tinted glass, the block of coal, and horses fully added to the game. 2014 was a smaller year for April Fools, with Mojang changing all players' skins to look like a villager. This update also changed the villager sound and some of the music. These changes lasted for the whole day and reversed on April 2nd. 2015 was another large update, called the Love and Hugs update. This update focused on spreading the love by removing the ability to directly harm all mobs, making this the most passive playthrough of Minecraft ever. Hitting any mob instead gives the player a heart and emits heart particles from the mob. Also, for some reason, all the options are blanked out in the menu, and they had an obsidian boat, which was not very good at being a boat. If the player were to fill up the love meter by petting mobs, you would be rewarded with a game of Minesweeper, which is basically just Minesweeper. Also, I want to mention that around this time, most of the players were waiting for the release of 1.9. So, when the snapshot was released, most people expected some hints to what the 1.9 update would be about. And they got what they wanted. If the player loads into a super flat world, snow would begin falling around the player, which formed a QR code. When this code was scanned, it revealed the name of the combat update. April Fools 2016 introduced the Trendy update with loads of new tech-related items like a USB charger, reality vision goggles, an ankle monitor, and a smartwatch. The USB charging block acted just as a redstone block, but the others had a bit more function. The reality vision goggles could be worn by the player and spawned on various mobs. When equipped, it showed a 3D map and changed all signs to say obey, referencing they live. The ankle monitor could be worn by the player and gives the player a slowness debuff. Oh, and it could not be taken off. Last but not least, the smartwatch would tell the player the time and send milestone stats to chat, like damage taken and item info. This update was actually released a day early, coming out on March 31st, and caused the community to think it might have been a real update. But Mojang confirmed later that it was just an April Fool's joke. 2017 and 2018 were both smaller updates again, so I'll talk about them at the same time. For 2017, Mojang announced the creation of a handheld device called the Mine and Craft, referencing old Game & Watch handhelds. However, this was, again, just a joke. For 2018, the devs were working on changing a lot of the Minecraft textures at the time, and happened to release the update on April 1st. So, for the joke, they downgraded all the textures, and stated that the game was cleaner, right on the splash text. Lots of people actually enjoyed the simpler texture design, but most were relieved when the textures went back to normal on April 2nd. Alright, let's head back to the year 1994 for this one, and talk about Minecraft 3D. Mojang started April Fool's 2019 off by stating that they had found an old version of the game that only had a handful of copies, also saying it was dated back to April 1st, 1994. Coincidence, right? Mojang also stated that this was a masterpiece of its time and cutting edge, but this was all part of the joke. When starting up, the first thing you might notice is the pixelated main menu, or the giant 3D. When starting a world, you also get a difficulty selection menu containing difficulties referencing older FPS games like Doom and Wolfenstein. This entire update is mostly a reference to early FPS games. Once you select a difficulty, you will load into your world, and the first thing you'll probably notice is the pop-up asking you to register the full game. And after that, you'll notice the hotbar looks a bit funny, showing the player and a different looking life and hunger bar, again referencing Doom. Walking around a bit, you'll find a few of the newly made 2D barrels that explode and generate loot. I would also like to mention the cheat codes you can use to improve your fun. Cheats like Power Overwhelming and Pigs on the Wing. Both of these just gave you the ability to fly in basically God mode. Also, there was a cheat called Nerd that would spawn a creeper nearby that looked like a nerd. When killed, it dropped a 3D item, and when it was eaten, it would show a picture of the developers. Lots of little changes for this one, so I recommend you checking it out for yourself on the Minecraft launcher. Alright, this next one is actually one of my favorites. 2020 gave us Snapshot 20W14 Infinite, and added procedurally generated dimensions. It worked by throwing a written book into another portal, and upon entering the portal, the player would be teleported to a new randomized dimension based on the contents of the book. To make this a bit easier, a box of infinite books was added that just spawned books. Not all the dimensions were completely random, however, and Mojang added a whole bunch of Easter egg dimensions, depending on what was written in the books. Dimensions like ant, isolation, missing, rooms, zones, and a whole bunch of other ones that I didn't show. Again, I recommend checking this one out for yourself, but let's move on for now. After that huge update, Mojang took a bit of a break for 2021 by introducing Minecraft Plus. This was a separate app that featured Minecraft-themed screensavers. Pretty cool, but not much to do with Minecraft as a game, other than the textures, so let's go to the next. 2022 was another massive overhaul of how Minecraft worked. This update, called One Block at a Time, removed the player's inventory and made it so the player could only carry one block at a time. These changes make playing this version a whole lot different than any of the previous. You can walk around and pick up blocks and mobs, and just casually toss them around. If you wanted to damage anything, you would have to pick up a sword and toss it at your target. And if you wanted to beat the game on this version, you would be met with an insane challenge, as the end portal is missing a few of its frames. To get them, you will need to head into the Nether, and find them in the Nether fortresses. Bring them back to the end portal. Oh, and by the way, you can't use Eyes of the Ender to find the strongholds. Once in the end, you might be surprised to find out that you can't actually damage the dragon. Rather, you can ride it. I would love to see a full playthrough of this, but for now, let's move on to the most recent April Fool's update. Last, and most certainly not least, Minecraft 2023, the Vote update. There is actually so much that this update adds that it's worth a video all on its own, but let's go on. The main change this adds is the addition of a vote that comes around every few minutes and allows the player to change various things. In old-fashioned April Fool's style, some of these changes do nothing while others have a massive impact. Some of the choices the player might get are for crafting air blocks, or the other portal, which adds the Aether. Nah, just kidding. There are a bunch of others, but I would like to mention that this update also contains the moon. That's right, if you travel to Y level 700, you'll be teleported to the moon. Once there, you can hop around and look for these little rovers that spawn a giant copper cage with a bunch of random loot. And they look so cool while spawning. I can genuinely see a few of these changes and additions being made to future updates. Additions like the blocks that break and place other blocks could be really cool for redstoners. This Cool Among Us banner could stay also, I guess. Overall, I think these April Fool updates add a lot of extra fun to the game, and sometimes a few hints at what's to come next. And I can't wait to see what the next year will bring. If you all enjoyed this video, give it a like if you don't mind, and also maybe give me a suggestion on what game or topic you want me to cover in the next video. I'd like to make more videos talking about events and seasonal stuff in other games, so leave it down in the comments if you'd like. I stream games almost every day on Twitch, and I've also got a Twitter if you want updates on stuff. Big shout out to ItsLizard. I discovered his video on the same topic while I was in the middle of writing this one. Please check out that video as well. I'll leave a link to his video in the description, and the wiki page I used also, along with all my other social links. Thank you all very much for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.